Welcome back to another interview on Screen or Script. And at this time, I have got Tessa Coates and Matt Miller, the creators and showrunners of a brand new series called Ride or Die, which premieres on July 15th on Prime Video. Hi, guys. How you doing?
We're doing
Hello.
fantastic. Great intro. That's everything you need to know.
That's it. This is the end of the interview right there.
That's it. Lovely to chat.
No, legitimately, congrats on the series. I've watched the first four episodes, and
Oh,
so
great.
far, I'm really enjoying it. There are a lot of spy shows out there, but there aren't, in my opinion, any action series that are built specifically around female friendship. And so, what was the thing that made you think this could be more than just another assassin story?
I think you've completely answered why is that there are so many shows like this and there are so much work in this genre because it's really cool. It's visual and exciting and fun and sexy and everybody loves a James Bond. And your point is answers the question, which is that you don't see female friendship explored like this. You don't see women of this age doing this sort of stuff. You don't see women get to be kick-ass action heroes that aren't just the buddy to the man who's the real hero. You know, you don't get to see this sort of thing, and I think that's why. And hopefully, why it's appealing to people is that it feels new and fresh, even in a genre that is deeply saturated.
And Matt, for you?
I concur. Let's. What I would say is, yeah, it feels like while Tessa said that this is a deeply saturated space, I would say it's been a minute since we've been in this space with either gender, and like obviously, like these two women on the north side of 50 going through this is completely fresh turf. But even like the references, the movies like that we've talked about, like Midnight Run, True Lies, things like that tone, I don't really see that much being represented right now, particularly in television. Maybe there's a couple movies that take a swing at it. And that's the stuff that grew up on and it was so fun. And so it feels like really like fresh snow. And hopefully when people watch it, they come out of it and they feel like that was just a really fun ride. It was an 8-episode movie almost, and that was what we set out to do, and hopefully we achieved it.
I'm so glad you said True Lies because
Yeah.
that was the kind of reference point that spoke to me the most in terms
Oh,
of
cool.
balancing the action and the comedy, but also having those emotional beats. And I do feel audiences are incredibly genre savvy these
Yeah.
days. So, how do you guys balance giving the viewers the tropes they love, but at the same time still surprising them?
I think we just try our best. I think this show very much like knows what it's doing. You know, Judith Burton's initials are JB because it's a nod to James Bond, Jason Bourne, Jack Bauer. To be like there are multiple men with those initials more than there are women being allowed to do this sort of thing. We have a kid making gadgets whose name is Queenie, so it can begin with a Q. You know, like it's all in there. It's referencing itself, but also saying this is a new spin on it. This is a world you haven't really seen before.
Because the characters are so specific and so different, it allows you to do things that maybe you haven't seen before. So we're never gonna like flip a car better than it's ever been done in Mission Impossible. But the character of Debbie, played by Octavia Spencer, is she's going through this. She finds out for the first time that her best friend is an assassin. Her head is spinning. All this is going on. And then in the second episode, since you've seen the first four, she's in the backseat of a car being taken away by these Albanian bad guys. And she looks into her purse and she takes out the mace and puts on the sunglasses. And that's a sequence that, I've seen the car flip, but I haven't seen a person do that. And because of the fact that these characters are so specific, you just get to see it through the lens of what would they do.
Were there any rules you guys set yourselves about how far the comedy could go without undermining those emotional stakes?
Definitely. I mean, it's never like a hard and fast rule. I think we're just both very clear mentally on like where exactly the line is and what feels too much and when you've crossed that. And I think to me, it's the line is crossed when someone's been through something horrendous and then makes a quip. Because you see that so often in movies and you're like, nobody makes a quip. People have to lie down and regroup
Yeah.
from what just happened. And, so that if they are going to, it can't ever be a joke. And very few people in it make jokes. There's just, the humor of the dialogue. And so I think, yeah, it's not a halved and and also that Debbie is gonna. The show's very heightened. You know, it's asking you to buy into a big lie, a big heightened idea, which is that there's this assassin and there's an assassination agency and the Albanian mob are coming. And I think you believe it because we tried very hard to make those characters as real and grounded as possible. And that also Debbie's going to make some objectively wild decisions. Like she's going to do some stuff in episode 5 that you believe that she did because you believe the thought process that got her there. And as much as possible, we always want to live in her headspace, and that we, the audience, are watching her and be like, yeah, okay, I agree, I would do that as well.
And you've obviously got some legends as your lead actors in both Hannah Waddingham and Octavia Spencer, but they're also executive producers. So what was it like working with them both in front of the camera, behind the scenes, and how much of an impact did that have on the show?
Well, they both take the job really seriously. And I think this is the first time, if I'm not mistaken, that Hannah has been an executive producer. But Octavia's been through the process before, and she's extremely savvy about all the elements of filmmaking because she herself started off working on crews and things like that. But she's very conscious about budget and schedule and are we making our days and things like that, which makes you really feel like you have partners in this as opposed to like a vanity card. They take it quite seriously. And can be very, very helpful, whether it's even like fighting with the studio, whatever it is, you feel like we're all a team kind of pushing this boulder up the hill together.
Were there any moments where you felt as though they were legitimately helping you guys from a creative perspective in terms of being in the writer's room or maybe changing an idea that you originally had on paper, but they brought something to the table where you think, actually, let's go in that direction?
Definitely. They weren't in the writer's room with us, but definitely on set, you know, there would be so many times where they would say, how about, would I definitely do this, or would I definitely make this decision, or I just want to say this tiny little line change here, so I believe it more. But by and large, they didn't have massive big changes to make on anything. It was just like little tiny moments, and you know, it was important to, you know, this is a spoiler, but like it was important at the end about, you know, it was important to Octavia that she, well, it's just too much of a spoiler. She felt it was important that something was said.
No, but
so it was.
Yeah.
And it's right, because she's, you know, and also, you know, the amazing Sylvia who plays Anna, like she had so many as well. She was so deep in her character. Anytime that she was like, because her character objective is a psychopath, you know, it's so easy for that to be very heightened. And she would very often be like, that's too much. This line is too, you know, I need to bring it down. I wouldn't, you know, this is how I feel about this. And she was right every single time. And that's a really special relationship to have with an actor, because they're so deep in their character.
If someone were to watch the trailer, they may have an idea of what this show is about. But for you guys, what is Ride or Die really about?
I would say it's about a lot of different things and a lot of different genres, but for me, the most exciting part of the show is, yes, there's the bonding of friends, but it is also that there's this moment in these two characters' lives where when it starts, they think they're living their best lives. And then the circumstances of the show tear the foundation of that away from them, and they have to go on an 8-episode journey to kind of come of age. And to have that happen when you're on the north side of 50 in an unexpected way, I think that's one of the most rewarding parts of it, is to watch their character arcs through the 8 episodes.
That's a beautiful answer. Yeah, and for you, Tessa, please.
It's fun.
It's just fun.
It's just it is so nice to be a bit of fun, good, honest fun, you know, that isn't too silly and isn't nonsense. You know, we watch a lot of nonsense these days, and this felt, you know, this is just fun. But his answer is nicer.
Use both.
Thanks a lot for your time, guys. I really appreciate it, and best of success and luck with the show.
Okay.
Thank you
Keep
so
watching.
much.
Watch the next 4.
Have more.
I will.
Okay.
Love it.
All right.
Thank
Nice
you
meeting
so
you.
much.